down and understand how they relate to each other. Furthermore, our site is a link directory where people with awesome and cool sites can post. Well, sorry, I got that one already. All right. Also, administrators must be able to approve links posted. Admins should get an email when links are added so they can go and check. All right. This is a series of actions. It's a workflow. So, which means we find 3 more features. Users add links which are unpublished before approved. Administrators are notified when links are added. Administrators can view and approve links. So we've found 4 features. There are many more features in this text. This is just 4 that we'll use for the purpose of explaining how the method works. The client might have provided you with a wireframe instead. And the wireframe has a lot of advantages, like I described earlier. You can actually get a better picture of what the client wants sometimes. But the method is about the same. You circle what you're interested in, and you write it down. You basically describe what you want. You basically give a name for the feature, and you describe what the feature consists of. So this means we have 4 features. So these features, they read like user stories. And that's great, because that means we have a very concrete idea of what they entail and what they mean. Sometimes the requirements are very concise like this. Sometimes they're way more vague. And another reason we break down link administration to 3 steps is that we can actually document some of the knowledge we have about the project. If you just put a feature called link administration, we would have to go back to requirements next time. If for example, if the client came to you and said, "I want to build a site," and you tell them, "Well, we can build this and it will take this many hours." Like, no, I'm not sure. We're gonna check with some other developers. They go to some other developer. Turns out they botched the project. You get it back a few months later. Instead of having to review requirements again, you can just look at your estimate. The more concise it is, the better it is for you. The more well documented it is. All right. So as you can see here, we have actually written some descriptions here. We have actually written a proposed solution for each of the features. And it's a proposed solution that we'll use later to the actual estimation. For the first case, we just create a node type. It's basic. In the other case, the proposed solution is used to flag the rules modules to create a workflow. The workflow sets a newly created link, known as unpublished. And basically, every feature should have a proposed solution, and proposed solutions could detail the steps required to build the feature and what modules are needed. And you can post links, like you can put links in your sheet, like to modules or to blog posts to explain it or something, just to make it easier to estimate. I'd also like to mention something about following the requirements to the letter. That is usually not a good idea. We have actually had projects where we looked at the requirements and we came up with a number like, I think we said 2,500 hours, and we told the client, like, if we can reduce the complexity or redo some of these things more like the way Drupal does, we can save time. And it was much. It was like 30%. And the client agreed to almost all of those changes. And so did the designer when they realized how much time you can change just by sort of working along Drupal instead of like trying to reinvent things. Okay, so the next tool we have is, like I said, a sheet. It's the estimation sheet. And I have a sheet with the sample requirements we can find here by going to this URL. It's on Google Docs, so you will need a Google Docs account to see it. And I've also created a template, which you can use for your own project. You can just go to Google and select Create New from Template, and you can find this template. And the estimation sheet consists of a number of fields or columns. First of all, every feature has a number, and this is just so you can talk internally about which feature you're referring to, so there's no confusion. It has a description or a name, which should be short and descriptive. It also has an estimate, an ideal estimate. It has something called the degree of experience, which I will discuss soon, and then it has a proposed solution. And these are like the bare minimum each feature needs to have.
Do you have a number and a reference number that are basically the same thing?
Yeah, they are basically the same thing. It is like later on the project, if you do revisions, you can change it later from F to G, etc. F is usually what I use for feature, but it's easy to refer internally when you do revisions of the sheet. All right, so next step is actually to estimate the features. Right. An estimate should include all activities. And activities which you usually carry out when you implement a feature are development, you actually build the feature. Then you write unit tests for automated testing like simple test and Selenium, for example. You do configuration, you set up things, you do configuration management, you might create features, using strong arm. I'm sure some of you are familiar with these techniques, which are very commonplace when you build Drupal sites these days. You need to test the feature, make sure it's bug-free. You need to fix those bugs you find, and you need to deploy it to a staging server at least. Now, actually, this is something called the definition of done, and it is a very important concept in agile practices. Basically, being an agreement with developers and the project manager regarding what it means for something to be done. And this is a pretty kind of sort of nice definition of done. It doesn't require much. Some definition done would require the feature to be in production, which is probably a better definition of that. What is also important when you estimate is that you use a fixed scale. And the scale should be a fixed number of hours. And when you estimate, you may only use numbers from the scale. That's the point of it. And you always round up. And this is a way to catch estimation errors. The basic idea is that you can never estimate more wrong than 100%. Basically, if you say something is between 2 and something is between, say something is like 3 hours, if the scale forces you to round up, which would be 4 hours just to have a margin. This scale I use is a bit different. This is called an order of magnitude scale. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and so forth. It's because it's a 1 to 5. That's all it consists of. And then we use factors of 10 for the granularity.